Welcome or welcome back to Heretic Owl Tarot. I'm so glad that you're joining me for these messages. It just brings me so much joy to read your cards. Speaking of, my calendar is now open for personal readings. The link for that is in the description below. Of course, anything you could ever want to know about this reading is going to be in the description below. And honestly, that's really all I have. I'm not even sure what decks we're going to be using yet. I just started getting that like poking feeling last night to start putting out messages again. So that's what we're going to do. And this is probably the quickest intro I've ever done, but let's get into it. Hello again. I think I already said that. Oh, it's just habit. You know, I wasn't even sure if I was going to do another reading today. I was working on some stuff for my Etsy store, or I mean like the gifts that I send out with the orders that I get. Anyway, and it was like all of a sudden I got this urge to come sit here and do this reading, and honestly, I have no clue who we're even doing this reading for yet. You do. By the time I post this, obviously, we'll know. So let's find out. Who summoned me? Aquarius. Beautiful. All right, so we're just going to get an oracle card for the overall vibe. There you go. That was fast. Earth magic. Very interesting. Like, I wonder if Aquarius is just feeling energized in some capacity because like I said, like all of a sudden I got this urge to like stop what I was doing, come sit for this reading, and that card came out really quick. Earth magic. I haven't seen this card yet out of this deck, but it also has this vibe of cleansing. There's a crystal, there's sage. I think this is rice or salt. The cat is playing with a crystal. And that to me, there's a full moon here. Like that to me feels like cleansing or charging. Let's see. Get some more information here. Earth magic is at the core of all we do as pagans and witches, and even simply as human beings. The earth supports our feet when we walk, provides a base for the homes that we live in, and springs all life from its fertile soils. We only have one planet, and doing some kind of earth magic, whether it involves crystals or herbs or even salt, helps remind us of how important the earth is to our magic and to our lives. Yeah, I was thinking, why did I even say rice? I think I was thinking because some people charge their crystals in salt, and for whatever reason I was thinking rice. Be careful with your electronics or your cell phone, because I don't know. I'm just like, where did that come from? What's up with the rice thing? Very interesting. Let's get some more information from the tarot. Earth is very grounding also. 6 cards. Beautiful. We have the 3 of Pentacles, the 2 of Wands, okay, and the Sun, the Devil, Five of Wands. One more. The Hanged Man. We have the Ten of Swords, Wheel of Fortune, Ace of Cups. Okay. All right. Very interesting. We have a decent amount of earth out here too. What's the Hanged Man? Is that water or is that earth? Water. Very interesting. So, you know, when I was shuffling, I kept kind of looking over at this card. And I find it so interesting that each one of these elements, like the smoke coming off of it, or whatever this is, you know, I mean, that could be the energy coming off of those things. They all have their own signature. And for some reason, I find like that's interesting. Just recognizing the difference between each one of those elements, right? Like the sage, the crystals, the salt, and just their energetic blueprint is different. So there might just be something about, you know, working with each one of those elements. We have the Three of Pentacles to start, which is collaboration. It's working with other people. There's a like planning that goes into that as well. Pentacles having to do with our money, how we get it, how we spend it, how we save it, how we invest it. It's, you know, our physical body. It's the materials and resources available to us. It could be our physical location, like our home, office. You know, I mean, it's like literally anything in the physical, like 3D. I believe the sun is actually Leo. I was saying the sun was Earth, which is interesting too. I just realized that. So it's interesting on this. This has a very like group project kind of feel to it, but looking at this group project, right? I mean, there's a couple different things. Can we assume that each one of these people made one of these pentacles? One of them is a bit more elaborate than the other two, but does it make it better? Or does it just, is it just that person's way of expressing art, and the other two belonging to whoever they belong to, it would be their way of expressing art? Are they all involved? Like this person is holding one paintbrush, they're holding two. The tip of one is red, the tip of the other one looks blue, so they could have painted both of these. And who is this person? So, you know, I mean, there could be more than one person involved with what you're doing. This could be you even working with other people in some capacity. There's definitely this vibe of like releasing control, because it's like if you are viewing one as better than the other, you know, then it's like what makes that one better than the others? They all still have, like, they all still look the same ish, and what appeals to one person may not appeal to the next person. So it's like being able to have multiple perspectives, or, you know, multiple ways of doing things can just almost like help you reach like a greater audience. And part of why I say that is because we have the Devil card here, and the Devil card talks about, also I want to point out before I get into that, both of these cards are Capricorn. So, I mean, there could be a Capricorn involved. There doesn't have to be. It could be the energy of Capricorn, though. And Capricorn is an earth sign, right? Again, even going back to this earth magic, right? And like I said, there doesn't necessarily have to be a Capricorn. I mean, this could be something that was started in Capricorn season, which is what, like December to like mid-December to mid-January, I believe. So, you know, I mean, this could be something that was started around then. or even, the planning or the discussion was started around mid-December to mid-January, somewhere around there. Capricorns are very, hardworking, persistent. With it being an earth sign, it's practical, maybe a bit slower moving. And the Devil card talks about those things that control us, whether it's outside stimuli or our ego. It can be addiction. And of course, addiction can be anything from, being addicted to numbing or being distracted, all the way to, like substance, gambling, addiction, right? It also has this energy of like integrity. It's like, what is the intention of this thing? If the intention is to make the most amount of money. Oh my gosh, I don't know if you can hear my dog snoring. But it's interesting because we have these two cats down here that it's almost like they're trying to warn these people or pull their attention away from this devil that has this bag of money and, ice cream here. So again, it has this feeling of really staying in your integrity and being sure to check in on your intentions, whatever, like the thing is, because it's almost like, it could easily go in this direction somehow. I'm not saying that it will or that it has, but with the devil coming out here, that's, I'm just saying. And then we have the Three of Wands here. We have double threes, and the Three of Wands has this vibe of practice. Like maybe you've tried a few things, not many, because it's a 3. So it's still, at the beginning of the journey through the Suit of Wands. Wands having to do with action, communication. It's our motivation too. Like I said, communication. It could be information coming in or going out. I see the Wands as being, like life experience and wisdom, because that's how we get it, right? Is by trying things. So like the more that you try, the more experience, the more wisdom you gain, the more information you have. It's like making these, tweaks. So, and in this card, we can see that, there's some type of spell coming out of their wand, but there's still these two other wands over here that it doesn't look like they've touched yet, because there's still leaves on them. There's no leaves on this one. So it has a feeling of like not giving up. And generally the Three of Wands talks about like choosing a direction. It's like, we start with the Ace of Wands, which is that spark, right? Like some sort of creative spark or a spark of desire, or, and then the Two of Wands is like, great. So that happened. Now what are we going to do with it? Like, how do we start taking steps towards that thing? And then the Three of Wands is like actually going. It's like, okay, we've had a couple thoughts. We've gathered some information here. Now it's time to actually start moving, like taking actionable steps forward. But then we have the Five of Wands here, which is like, what's that saying? The girls are fighting. Literally, like in this card, they are arguing. Can't seem to come to an agreement. I mean, even the cats are fighting. This has a feel of like too many chefs in the kitchen, or what is it? Too many chefs, not enough cooks, or something like that. It's like, and again, it does have this energy of there are more than one person involved in this, because we have a lot of cards that are that have more than one person here. So, I feel like that would be pretty clear as far as like if this is your message. There doesn't have to be necessarily 5, but there's definitely more than just you. And the 5 of Wands, it is about conflict. Clearly, they are in conflict. But it's like, again, going back to what I said about the 3 of Pentacles, allowing everybody to share their experience, share their wisdom. It's like if everybody put all of their like brainstorming, like if everybody came together and brainstormed together, then you would come to the best solution for figuring out, however this spell needs to be made. Like they're holding a frog, they have some herbs in their hand. It's like figuring out the right formula. But it's like you have to try things in order to figure out the best formula. And that can be frustrating, of course, right? Like, especially if it's not going the way that you envisioned it going, it's easy to start taking it out on the closest person to you. But also, I see the 5 of Wands, and anytime the 5 of Wands comes out, I give this comparison. I think about Mulan, the movie Mulan, the cartoon. And it's warrior training. When they're all like in warrior training before they actually go to battle. And it's a bit of a shit show. Right? Like literally there's that scene where, is it Poe does something and it like sets off this like domino effect to where then everybody is literally fighting with somebody else. And they probably almost have no clue why, but it's just like venting frustration. And that's just how this feels. Like the things that you have tried maybe have not like yielded the results that you have wanted. And it's like now there's kind of fighting within the organization or like the group. And it's also kind of like not wanting to waste any more time, but like, is time actually wasted on trying stuff? I can see why it would feel that way, but it's not. You have to try something in order to see if it works, right? That's just the unfortunate part of things. And honestly, I hate that part. I am not a fan of that part at all. But if you can like stick with it, because I feel like that's what this last row is saying. Like, if you can stick with it, because again, there are 3 people on this card, 3.5, because there's a bun in the oven there. And again, there doesn't have to be 3 people. There doesn't have to be 5. There's definitely more than 1. Maybe there does need to be a 3rd person. Like maybe there is someone who can guide you, like a mentor or coach to some degree. But the Sun card is like everything good, right? It's joy, it's bliss, it's literally life force, it's sacral. We can't live without the sun, right? So it's regenerating too. This has like a playful quality to it, like finding the fun in the thing again, reconnecting with each other, or even maybe on a deeper level through fun, through play. I think this would also happen too if everybody kind of let up on themselves, because then it's almost like, once you give yourself a break, you're better able to give other people a break too. Like if you're being really hard on yourself or hard on the project or being very judgmental type of thing. But this is also the card of like, everything is going to be all right. And again, right, this is possible because this happened. So this isn't even necessarily like, the devil could be a warning, but it's not even necessarily like a heads up to not do this, but it is like, the sun is possible because of the experience that was gained through going through this. The Hanged Man here talks about willful suspension. It's seeing things from a different perspective. Like, that's the whole point why they are hanging upside down. This is also a message about, with this coming out, this is saying that there is a different way. There's a different solution than any of the ones that you have already tried. They have the key in their hand. So they're not stuck there. They're not trapped. They're not trapped. They're not stuck. But if they've been banging their head against a wall and the wall hasn't come down yet, then that's not the solution. The solution could be going over the wall, or maybe there's a way to go around it. But continuing to bang their head against the wall, all it's going to do is hurt your head, not the wall. And then we have the 10 of Swords at the bottom of the deck, which is a completion. So this may seem a bit worrisome. Swords having to do with our thoughts, right? It's air, so it's very much, Aquarian energy. But this is also saying that, like, you have thought of everything possible, and there's a new solution coming up or being available. It's interesting though, because this person is laying on the ground with these 10 swords out of their back, right? And this person is running off. So just because of the, vibe of this card, there could be somebody that would be leaving this collaboration. And it's like, once they do, you recognize how much they were like bringing it down. I mean, even this cat is, like being protective. I'm really kind of curious what the book says about the 10 of Swords. This is why I love getting these books, because it just, it helps me expand my knowledge and understanding of tarot, and that just gives me goosebumps. So it says, well, that didn't go exactly as planned, did it? The 10 of Swords is one of those cards that clearly demonstrates the saying, some days you get the bear, some days the bear gets you. In the case of the poor witch in this picture, the bear or some other foe has won the day. The battle is over. But take a closer look, because she's not beaten. Battered, you bet. Maybe ready to give up on this particular situation and call it a total loss. But none of this means that she can't learn something from the experience, even if what she's learned is not to turn your back on the next time. She's just going to wait until she is sure the coast is clear, then pull those stupid swords out and limp away with her faithful cat by her side. Sadder but wiser. Things to consider. If the 10 of Swords shows up in your reading in the past or present positions, which it didn't. So if the 10 of Swords shows up in the future position, watch out. This is a serious warning. And maybe if you heed it, you can save yourself a lot of grief somewhere down the line. It doesn't necessarily feel like a warning to me, but more so it feels like what it is. It's a completion. Because tens in the minor arcana are completions. So again, it's almost like if there has been some conflict within a collaboration, or if there is some conflict within a collaboration, this is telling me that it is nearing the end of like that energy or phase of the collaboration. And again, whether that means somebody is exiting or you are exiting, because then we have the Wheel of Fortune behind. And the Wheel of Fortune, I don't care where it shows up, it's a good card. This is saying that, like the wheel is starting to move again, luck is changing. There's literally nothing bad on this wheel. So whatever it lands on it's a positive. This cat is playing with some dice down here. So, maybe it feels like a bit of a gamble, whether that is you leaving or somebody else. But it's also creating the opportunity for this energy to come in and be available. Because then we have the Ace of Cups. Cups having to do with our emotions. Also, there's this cauldron here that is not boiling over. It doesn't have, it's not catching anything on fire. Their cup is overflowing to the point where it's watering this plant down here. The cat has water. It's feeling like rejuvenated. It's feeling like literally your cup is full. It feels good. And that is possible because this 10 of Swords situation happened. We have the Chariot, which is a card of Cancer. I think the Wheel of Fortune is Sagittarius. This is also a card that talks about choosing a path this way or that way. It literally doesn't even matter which path you go with. It's going to be correct. The problem is that, we get stuck in our head and it's like, but if I go this way, what if? It's the what if-isms, right? But literally either which way that you go is the exact way that you should go. Oh, this way. This is quite the journey. I'm going to leave it there. Thank you so much for allowing me to read your cards. I will talk to you soon. Bye.